should I start?
Oh, you should start with the good morning. But we gotta do it like together. 1, 2, 3. Good morning.
So I'm here with my husband today.
Hello.
Jordan and I got back from a trip to
New Orleans. That sounded like a Cockney accent. I'm sorry, everyone.
Try again.
New Orleans.
Well, some people say New Orleans,
Yeah.
and then some people say New Orleans. So anyway, my husband and I just got back from a trip to New Orleans. Jordan and I have a mutual friend getting married in February. We are both in his wedding party. I am actually closer to the groom. I was invited to the bachelor party as well. Jordan and I flew out to New Orleans a few days earlier just to be able to experience New Orleans on our own. Also, if you remember in any of my last travel videos last summer, we had a 3-day delay. A 3-day delay could actually result in missing the entire bachelor party weekend. So we also went early so that we didn't have to worry about that. In the lift on the way to the airport, In the lift on the way to the hotel is when I realized that in New Orleans, you can have open containers.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, whoa, we're in Vegas. Like, this is what? Oh no. We're pausing. After we got to the hotel, we just did some walking around. We thought we would explore the French Quarter because that's where our hotel was, and we accidentally ended up on Bourbon Street. We didn't intend to go to Bourbon Street that first day because we knew we were going with the guys at a later date, and wow, Vegas. At one point in my life, that would have been an amazing, cool thing, but not really so much anymore. That's just really not what I'm interested anymore. After exploring it a little bit, we decided that we didn't need to see Bourbon Street anymore, and we planned to just do it with the guys. One thing that really stood out immediately as we were walking around the French Quarter was the potholes.
Like, actually, though.
I think I made a joke pretty much immediately, like, oh damn, you gotta watch where you're walking. This is like a 6-day trip. You know, we haven't even gotten to the bachelor party yet, and I'm gonna break my ankle between now and then. And so that was like extra amusing when we saw that they actually have a book, you know, a play on Goodnight Moon, and it's called Goodnight Pothole. After we explored Bourbon Street and the French Quarter, we decided it was time to get dinner. We decided to stop at Cafe Beignet in Musical Legends Park. They had some live music played by the Steamboat Willies. Steamboat Willie? Singular Willie? Multiple guys? One Willie?
Not
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse. That's just the name of their band.
How is Disney not coming after them?
I don't know. Disney has better things to do, probably. Like
No, they don't.
buying up every other IP that exists.
They spend a lot of time trying to knock down small creators for
That's
like
true.
knocking off their products.
It's only a matter of time, Steamboat Willie. Sorry. And I'm sorry if this video brought light to your copyright infringement.
I feel like that's putting a lot of trust that we are going to be watched by more than just your mom. Hi, Mom! We got some jambalaya.
I liked it. It was good. We'd had it before at Disneyland forever ago, and it was way too spicy, I remember. This one was totally mild. I don't even remember it being a little bit spicy, honestly.
I don't know if it's that it was less spicy than Disneyland's or if it's just that our spice tolerance has gone up. Fun fact, when that Popeyes spicy chicken sandwich went viral, a coworker and I went to Popeyes on our lunch break. I was like, I can't eat a spicy chicken sandwich. I'll just try the regular chicken sandwich. And I was like, this is terrible. Like, this is so spicy, I can't even eat it. And it was just a basic chicken sandwich. It was just like the Cajun spices that were like too much for me. Whereas now, I've evolved. I love the spicy chicken sandwich, but I like spice a lot more now than I did 3-4 years ago. So it may not be that this jambalaya was less spicy than Disneyland's. It could just be that my spice tolerance has improved.
No, you're probably right.
And then we went over to the legendary milkshake bar. We got a s'mores flavored fun milkshake.
So good. Enormous, though.
That was the small size. That was like
Yeah.
8 ounce. For $1 more, you could get 16 ounces, which honestly, I kind of regret not getting the bigger one.
Really?
Because it was only 8 ounces, there wasn't actually that much milkshake. It was a lot of topping, but
Yeah,
not a
that's
ton of milkshake. So I felt like I could have done with a little bit more milkshake. For only $1 more, size up.
Heard it here first.
Jordan's putting a lot of power on us that we have the power to influence.
Shoot for the stars or something, right?
Anyway, while we ate our milkshake, we checked out our kitty camera and watched Luna, and we were like, yeah, she's in the the same spot that she'd been basically all day. If you saw our preparing for New Orleans video, you'll see that she was hanging out with us. She was hanging out on the couch. She literally did not move. She was like, I'm going to stay right here because my humans are coming back tonight.
They did not.
And then we just went back to the room and I think we watched like a House Hunters or something. In fact, we did. We watched 2 episodes of House Hunters. It was a lot of fun. The next morning, we went to the Fleur de Lis Cafe for breakfast.
It was so good. I really liked it.
It was. We decided to get the Bourbon Street breakfast.
It had a shot of bourbon with the breakfast, and it also had like some pancakes with like banana and pecan in it. They put some like powdered sugar and then a side of bacon and eggs.
I think it was candied bacon. Yeah, the food was really good. The pancakes were amazing. The bacon was amazing. The bourbon shot was
difficult.
I think that was my first time ever having bourbon. Not a bourbon person. Don't need to try that again. Nope. After that, we walked over to the Museum of Death.
I thought it was interesting. There were some parts of it that were like way more morbid than I would have expected to have seen. There's like a lot of really graphic images.
Also, I thought it would be a little bit more relevant to New Orleans specifically, and it wasn't. I feel kind of conflicted about it, but I did learn some interesting things like about embalming and what's that guy named? Dr. Death. Duh.
Oh, yeah.
And just kind of the ethical thought process around him helping people who wanted to die. After that, we walked to Jackson Square to see the St. Louis Cathedral, or they pronounce it St. Louis because French. My understanding is that it is the oldest cathedral in the United States. I thought that the little park in Jackson Square was really pretty. It was just very hot at this point. Because of the heat, we decided to go to Café du Monde.
At the iconic Café du
Monde. We just wanted something cold to drink, honestly. I think our only option was like a frozen café au lait. What happened in line?
Oh, I was threatened by a stranger. I don't know. This dude basically just accosted me. I don't know what it is. I just have like one of those faces, maybe.
That's not the first time, nor will it be the last that Jordan had gotten a stranger's attention. Jordan definitely did nothing wrong. We were waiting in line. I don't even know where he came from.
He was not in line before.
He yelled at Jordan and was like, if you don't say excuse me, I'm gonna punch you in your face. So I was like, Jordan, say excuse me.
I don't even think I like was able to process what he said until he left. He had a really thick accent. He was definitely slurring his words a little bit. Probably, had been spending some time on Bourbon Street, if you know what I'm saying.
So yeah, that part wasn't great. And so now that's going to be a core memory from Café du Monde. So we went to Madame Lalaurie's mansion. We later learned it is so haunted. Maybe you shouldn't stand under the gallery. We did anyway and got some pretty interesting pictures. I don't know if that's because it's haunted. I'm just hoping we didn't take home any hitchhiking spirits. At that point, we were pretty hungry, so we decided to go over to the gumbo shop to get some gumbo. We actually decided to order some gumbo. I think it was just like chicken andouille gumbo as well as a po' boy. After that, we went to the New Orleans Historic Voodoo Museum.
I loved this museum. I thought it was really cool. It was really cool getting to learn more about the lore of voodoo and also the history of how it was practiced and everything. I thought that was really fascinating.
At the end of that, we got to do a voodoo wishing stump, so we got to make a wish. Hopefully, Marie Laveau will grant them for us. And at that point, I felt like it had just been a long, hot day, and we were pretty thirsty, so we decided to go to the Vampyre Cafe.
Sorry.
Jordan got a drink that was considered like O negative. That one actually just came in like a normal boring glass. Mine was pomegranate lemonade, but they served it to me in this cool blood bag. It tasted good. I enjoyed the novelty of it being in a bag.
Yeah.
It was actually a little bit hard to drink though because you had to like suck out all the air first. It was like really preparing you for your future as a vampire.
The bar itself was really cool too. If you've ever seen the show True Blood, it was like that mixed with a dive bar, essentially. But yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed going in and yeah.
We noticed that they had a little vampire boutique next door, so we went in there. We got to experience being in a coffin. It took everything in me not to spend $22 adopting a vampire. Just look how cute they are. They're so little cuties.
And you can't deny the cleverness of a rebirth certificate.
After that, we stopped by this dessert place called Sucre. I don't know exactly how you pronounce that, but I'm like 99% sure that's just sugar in French. We picked up some macaroons. We got cafe au lait, salted caramel, chocolate, and strawberry. Can confirm that the cafe au lait and the salted caramel were the best.
Hands down.
Then we went to the Hotel Monteleon to go to the Carousel bar. It's basically a bar built into a carousel, and so it slowly turns. It's slowly rotating the entire time that you're on it. I knew going into it that the Carousel bar was a pretty popular attraction and that it was going to mean a wait for seats. I thought that meant that we would give our name to a host and we would get seated eventually. What I didn't expect was that there was no host, so your only option was to stand there and keep an eye out for any open seats that ever come up.
It was literally a survival of the fittest, first come, first serve, if you snooze, you lose situation. If another couple happened to be like sitting by an open spot, they could easily just waltz on over to the bar, and there was nobody to kind of enforce who had been waiting longer.
But we did get seats actually relatively quickly, which I was thankful for, just because I don't mind a long wait, but a wait where you're having to stand there and like stare is a little bit different. And I am glad that we did this alone instead of trying to do it with friends, because it was hard enough to get seats for two. I can't imagine how hard it would have been to try to get 5 seats in a row or 6 seats in a row.
Imagine only maybe like 2 or 3 seats open up for like a group of 5, and then you've got like 2 or 3 people that are just like meandering along with your group as the carousel bar turns around.
And he says imagine because we saw that happen. As we were sitting there, a group of 5 came, 2 seats next to us had opened up, so 2 people sat there, and then the friends, they had to stand, but not only do they have to stand, they're having to slowly move along as the seats are moving. Yeah, I think it would have been way too challenging to go with a big group, so I'm glad that we just went the 2 of us.
We got some Parmesan truffle fries.
I got the French 007. It was a pear liqueur, a pomegranate liqueur, and it was topped with sparkling wine. It was super good. And towards the end, they actually had some live music. It was a nice ambiance. I really enjoyed it.
It was nice.
The next morning, we did need to check out of our hotel, so we made sure to go get breakfast first thing. We went to Jimmy J's Cafe. I convinced us to order Bananas Foster French toast because at the time, I thought that that's what Bananas Foster was. I thought that Bananas Foster was a breakfast. I have since learned that I was wrong. The waitress kind of convinced us to order these fried beignet sticks. They were so good. Honestly, I think those might have been my favorite of the beignets that we had. Sorry, Cafe du Monde. We checked out of our hotel. We asked them if they would hang on to our luggage, and thankfully they said yes. So we were able to go and finish exploring for the remainder of the day. This time we actually decided to take the streetcar. And the streetcar itself was pretty cool. It felt very like old and historic.
Yeah.
The windows were open, so we got like this nice breeze. It was pretty cool. So we took the streetcar over to Buckner Mansion. We were rewatching American Horror Story Season 3, Coven, which is filmed in New Orleans, mostly set at Buckner Mansion in preparation for this trip. Getting to see Buckner Mansion was pretty anticlimactic, honestly. It's just like a little mansion.
We also just walked around that neighborhood. It was a nice area. It was, lots of pretty old houses.
We also went over to Lafayette Cemetery, which was also featured in the show, so that was pretty cool to see. So we decided to get frozen drinks from Orleans Coffee. This was probably my absolute favorite coffee of the trip.
I do remember that frozen coffee being exceptionally good.
So good. I did get locked in their bathroom. I guess not locked. I got stuck in their bathroom. When I was 9, my family, we decided to take the Amtrak train. I went to use the bathroom and I got stuck. I'm like yelling like, help me, I'm stuck, I can't get out, that kind of thing. And no one helped me. And then eventually I think my family realized like, she's been gone for a while. Between that and like they could like kind of hear like a muffled screaming. So they came and they saved me. So I go into their bathroom and I didn't bring my phone or anything because why would I? And I like could not get the door open. But I guess the employee could hear me struggling to get out. He knew. He's like, sorry, the door sticks sometimes. But otherwise, super good. Highly recommend. Just be careful in the bathroom. After that, Jordan and I were going to take public transit again to get to the Longview, at least I think that's how you pronounce it, the Longview Mansion. What happened with that public transit, Jordan?
Didn't show up, right?
We just never saw it. Ultimately, we were just like, whatever, let's just take a lift. So we dropped us off at the Longview Mansion, we checked in, and we booked a guided tour of the mansion itself and then self-guided tour of the gardens. The Longview House and Gardens is a historic house museum and associated gardens owned by this family, the Stearns. They were Jewish and they were philanthropists, and when they died, instead of passing along the house to their children, they wanted it to become a museum. They had a few architecture pieces that I thought were really clever. They had this like Murphy bed that instead of coming down like a traditional Murphy bed, it was down into the wall, so you couldn't even see it when it was flipped the other way, kind of like a secret door kind of thing. Or they even had a built-in scale so that you could just stand flush on the floor in this one particular spot and find out what your weight is. After the guided tour, Jordan and I got to explore the gardens all by ourselves. I thought the gardens were absolutely beautiful. They really reminded me of a much smaller version of Versailles. After that, we were starving. Jordan said that he really wanted to try some fried chicken, so we went to Gus's world famous fried chicken. Apparently it is a chain, but it is like a chain that's only in the South, and I was ready to eat by hand.
It was very good though. Would recommend, definitely.
After that, we went to our hotel to move our luggage from our hotel to the Airbnb. Like I said, we were there for a mutual friend, Zach. At that point, we met up with one of Zach's friends from high school and one of his friends from college. Once Zach arrived, we went out for dinner. We had reservations at this place called Merrill, and we basically just did like a tapas-style ordering of a whole bunch of different stuff that the five of us shared. We definitely went out of our comfort zones to try some different things. We tried the fried turkey necks, which is kind of weird. The presentation was just fancy, but like I didn't need to see it looking like a neck, you know? We tried the pineapple upside down cornbread, which had a bacon marmalade, crispy rock shrimp tacos. We got the steamed mussels, which I'd never had before, and now I don't need to ever try it again because they were kind of gross.
The flatbread that we got isn't going to be on the menu because it was a special.
Do you
I don't
remember what
remember.
Crawfish.
Oh, yeah.
Jordan was gone when the flatbread arrived. We had a bite and we were talking about how it had crawfish on it, and I was like, oh no, Jordan doesn't really like seafood. He might not like this, but like I don't think it tastes like crawfish. Let's just see if when he comes back, he tastes it and he's like, this is good. And then we're like, it's crawfish. And so you came back, you had a bite. I was like, how is it? And you're like, it's good. And I was like, do you know what's in it? And you're like, yeah, crawfish. I was like, how did you know? He's like, I was there when we ordered it, Sasha. I was there when we ordered it, and I didn't know it was crawfish.
She thought they were being so sneaky.
And after that, we just decided to go out on Bourbon Street. It was definitely more fun with friends. We tried to go to the Sazerac bar, but it was a little bit too crowded. So we just walked down Bourbon Street. There was a country bar that had a mechanical bull, and Zach was like, I have to do that. He did not win, but it was fun watching him. And then Zach really enjoys gambling, so we went by Harrah's and watched him really fail at playing craps. So the next day, we went on a swamp tour. This was an airboat swamp tour. Because it was an airboat, it was going to be very, very loud. So they actually gave us these headphones to wear to protect our ears.
It was so cool. I loved it. We got to see some gators and some other wildlife. The boat would like sometimes go really fast and like turn sharp angles.
Shockingly fast, a little scary. I was like, I'm about to be gator food. Jordan even fed a gator a marshmallow.
I did.
My favorite gator was Blondie. She was like a cute little small tan colored one. Hence the name Blondie.
The gators are really awesome. They get so big. I didn't know how big some of them could get.
After that, thought we were going to this place called Cochin, but we ended up at this place called Butcher instead, which is attached to Cochin. We got a pork belly sandwich, mac and cheese, and potato salad. Butcher had some really cool hot sauces.
Oh, yeah.
These hot sauces were Star Wars themed. I was like, this is really good, and you were like coughing.
I must have gotten an extra spicy, like, piece or something in my little dab that I had, because I've never had a reaction to something being spicy like that.
After that, we went back to the Airbnb. I hadn't washed my hair since being in New Orleans at all. I took some time to wash my hair and get ready for the night while the guys
Played poker. I lost right away. And then I took a nap.
So sorry, I have something in my eyeball. So after that, we had to do a pretty quick dinner because we had a ghost tour planned. We went to Killer Po' Boys. We decided not to get a po' boy because we'd already had a po' boy the other day. Instead, we decided to get an aged whiskey grilled cheese. So we did our ghost tour.
I learned that New Orleans is way more haunted than I knew before, and I would not move in to any building there now.
Almost all of the places that we saw are either like working apartments that people live in, or like working hotels that people stay in, or working bars that people go to. That was kind of crazy because I just don't know that I could do that myself. We actually were talking with the tour guide, and he was saying that they say that every single place in New Orleans is haunted. Anywhere you stay, it's haunted. It was really interesting to learn more about all these different places. We also saw the Madame Lalaurie mansion again, and he was the one who said, I won't even stand under that gallery. Oh,
Great.
good to know.
That's the one we stood under.
We even went to this bar. It's haunted, and he said that the girl who haunts it doesn't like happy couples. So if you're a happy couple, be careful with your jewelry. She might steal it. But this is where a bathroom break is. So go on in, get some water, get a drink if you want one. I'm just like, okay. It was fine. No one stole my jewelry, don't worry. But I missed something. I was so nervous to be in there that I was supposed to look at like this tree. After the ghost tour, we decided to go out on Frenchmen Street. Frenchmen Street is what was recommended instead of Bourbon Street if Bourbon Street is a little too touristy for you. So we like walked around, looked at some cool art place, and then we ultimately ended up at a bar/restaurant that had live jazz. We experienced a location change because sitting where we were was starting to hurt our backs because we're old people now. Don't be ageist.
I'm sorry.
After that, I was feeling hungry, so I convinced my friends to go to this place called Dat Dog. Jordan and I got this hot dog called the Irish Channel Dog. I think he also ordered us these fries that had the etouffee on it. After that, my friends wanted to go back to the casino, so we went back to the casino. I've actually never gambled before. My friend did do a few slot machines, and he let me press some of the buttons, so I sort of gambled with his money. And then afterward, he just played some poker, and we just watched him play poker. It was interesting to watch. I think a friend of ours ended up winning $200, and this girl at the same table won $7,000. It was cool to watch. Don't think our friend did very well, though. I don't think he won anything. I think he lost.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned in our packing video that it was set to rain every single day in New Orleans. We were really lucky that it actually didn't rain until our last full day in New Orleans. Luckily at that point, we were just waiting under an awning to be able to have breakfast at this cafe. So it actually ended up being totally fine. That cafe that we went to was Ruby Slippers. It was so good. First, we got iced coffees. I think I decided to get this Nola style chicory coffee. What kind of coffee did you get?
Some kind of spiced iced latte.
His was so good. I was like, I'm gonna share it with me. We also got this mimosa flight. It was blueberry lavender, watermelon pomegranate, pineapple peach bellini, and blue orange. They were really good. For breakfast, we got this mixed berry French toast, this candied bacon side, in addition to the side of bacon that came with our French toast, and a buttermilk southern traditional biscuit. It was super good, but actually what was better than our breakfast was our friend's breakfast. He got this bread pudding pancake that was the best thing I think I've ever tasted.
It was ridiculously good.
I would go back to New Orleans just for that pancake.
Just for that pancake.
Okay, maybe not just for that pancake, but for that pancake and a few other things that we really enjoyed.
Yeah.
After that, we went to the Sazerac house. So the Sazerac house is a free distillery that you can tour, and they also give you free samples of some mixed drinks and also like just the Sazerac. It was really cool to learn a little bit about the history of Sazerac and all of that.
Other than the historical facts, you also learned a lot about the science behind how to make certain types of alcohol or what goes into the preserving of or storage of alcohol. For instance, they char the wood in a barrel that contains whiskey or whatever, and that's a really important part of the distillery process. If you are an alcohol aficionado, I definitely recommend going because there's a lot of fun, like interactive stuff you can do in addition to like learning everything, and you get little free samples of stuff.
After that, we just kind of explored New Orleans a little bit. We ended up in this cool used bookstore that had a little bookstore cat, kind of like a bodega cat, only a bookstore cat. We stopped by this candy store that gave us some pralines to try. That is where I learned that pralines are not at all what I thought they were. I thought praline was like a kind of nut, you know? You've got your peanuts, you got your walnuts, you got your pecans, you got your pralines, but no. I definitely learned a lot on this trip. I realized like a lot of things that I thought to be true were wrong. We also went to Café du Monde for the second time. Jordan, did you get accosted this time?
No, I did not.
We got some beignets. We couldn't get a table, so we just like sat outside the general area, and I noticed that there was a window that you could see in and watch how they make the beignets. And it was actually kind of cool because I was filming in the wrong spot, and then the staff guy was like, like I said, we just like walked around, looked at a lot of different like art shops and, you know, just cool little places. And then we went back to the Airbnb to freshen up for dinner. So we went to a restaurant called Broussard's. Again, the nice thing about going with a big group of like 6 people was that it allowed us to try just bites of different things that you would never order for yourself in case you don't like it, or at least I wouldn't. We got these Louisiana blue crab cakes, a Creole turtle soup, as well as a duck and alligator sausage gumbo. I did not like the turtle soup in the slightest. Like I tried it twice. I was like, I have to like this. Everyone else is like, oh, this is so good. And I'm like, no, not for me. And then Jordan and I actually ordered Creole jerk chicken and a filet mignon. For dessert, we ordered a bruleed banana eclair.
Yeah.
We wanted, so here's the thing, at this point I had learned that Bananas Foster is a dessert. So I tried to order their Bananas Foster, but they were out. So that's why we got this banana eclair that was like fine. We went to Louisiana and we didn't have the proper Bananas Foster. So now we really have to go back. Honestly, the groom wasn't feeling great after that, so we just decided to go back to the Airbnb. That was our trip.
Our flight got delayed landing.
Like mid-air, not like delayed before you get on the flight.
Yeah.
It was like delayed on the flight.
It was like a big storm.
He had to fly east and then over the Hamptons and then west to get us back to New York.
Yep.
Luna has joined us. Come here, Luna. Look. Luna doesn't like to be picked up, so I can't really like... Luna doesn't like it when we leave. So when we got back, she was ready for us to be back and very excited. Hi, we are home. Did you miss us? Were we gone for like 6 days too many? Luna's following me. I'm not really super big on a lot of souvenirs. Typically I'll buy something that I can wear or maybe a magnet. We did get ourselves each one item that we could wear. So Jordan got this cool New Orleans Beatles skeleton shirt, and I just got like a basic NOLA sweater because I'm cold all the time.
It was just a great time. I love getting to see the vibrant culture. I like music and the arts and stuff, and so to like get to see another city that kind of like really embraces that vibrancy. It's really special. Definitely would recommend.
I really enjoyed the food. I enjoyed just seeing the culture there and the things that they had there, or, I mean, some people might be like, you didn't see much culture, but like it felt like it to me. And it was also just really nice to see our friends.
Yeah.
That about wraps this up. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and good night, Pothole.